Now is at best relaxation. The second proposition is, now is at best relaxation. How could we have got it so wrong? Like my mother and Weight Watchers, like the military gentleman and meditation, effort and striving are all aimed at a false trajectory, a chimera, an imaginary goal. If our spiritual goal is to be in the now, we miss, as the sad man put it, ever having an enlightenment experience. Now, the present, this moment, is not enlightenment because it's not real. Reality, like truth, wisdom, love, and the divine, does not exist in the temporal sense. It is not to be found here, in the world of changes and sadness. The now concept should have stayed where it started out in psychospiritual practice. It was a means of reaching relaxation because mostly people are stressed, anxious, angry, restless, confused. Therefore they worry, plan, anticipate, fret, and organize mentally. A means of relaxation is necessary to calm us down and return us to ourselves. But remedial work on the soul and spirit, remedial work, should not be confused with spiritual practice. One is the foundation, the other is the building. An analogy may serve us here. I live in a precipitous area of southern Spain. One of the attractive parts of living in fairly remote mountainous areas is sometimes you feel like a pioneer, someone who can chop down some trees and build a house. In a way, it's true. You can get away with a lot here. A neighbor from our local village received a sizable inheritance, and she decided to use the money to build her dream house just outside the village on the mountain road. Every day, gangs of builders and laborers, lorries and equipment blocked the road as they poured truckloads of cement out of extensive pipes into the site. As the work progressed, a magnificent edifice appeared with a tiled roof, chestnut beams over a covered doorway area, strong windows, a shed for fuel for the winter months, a water deposit for feeding the garden and the land all around the house. Finally, the building was over and the house was ready. It looked good, looked great. But very shortly afterward, the building began to subside dramatically as the retaining walls started to bulge outward. The stonework that covered those walls fell away. Dark orange insulation peeled off the walls and hung outside in sheets, and the overhanging covering with chestnut beams fell inward, and the tiles cracked on the roof, crinkled and concertinaed, and over a few days it was rather like watching an earthquake in slow motion. Of course, the cause was inadequate foundations. The builders, mostly from out of the area, had done a botched job, taken the money and gone. Our neighbour had no recourse, merely a broken building to show for her substantial inheritance. Similarly, remedial, psychological, and soulful work must be done. These are the foundations. You must learn to breathe, to allow the body to become loose, to adopt good habits, silence, meditation, inspirational literature. Don't gossip. You must persist in these and other good and helpful practices until you're sufficiently prepared and ready for the spiritual journey. This is the building. It may not happen in another way, it may not happen in another order. The builders should have built strong foundation, a foundation that supported the big house. Plans should have been drawn, architects employed, permissions applied for and granted, competent builders contracted to bring the project to a successful completion. Foundation first, then build your building. So now, being present. This is a significant practice for returning us to an awareness of our true human potential. But it is not a spiritual practice per se. It merely relaxes and brings you to a state of psychological readiness. Being present is your arrival in base camp in preparation for the ascent.